This Miss Melinda. Welcome to Miss Melinda's Spontaneous Smart Diva Show. So how's all my subscribers and fans doing tonight? Let's see, what's today? I know today's Thursday because I know that tomorrow is Friday. So if tomorrow's Friday, I just put my lipstick on. Okay. I know if tomorrow's Friday, today's Thursday. Bingo! So I'm going to teach this class. Oh, that's right. I have one more class I have to teach after this one. And then I'm jumping in the Betty Bye and YouTube and movies. And maybe a little hot cocoa. Okay, so remember, everything's up for grabs. So you never know what Melinda's going to teach tonight. Melinda doesn't know until that day. But that's not always going to be that way. I might think of, But today, yeah, I just picked up my white book and started going through that. Now, it's fine to use that book because I know what's going on. But in some of the subjects I talk about, I don't know if it's this class or the one I teach after this class, that information won't be good because the book is old. But I will know the facts on the one. I forgot to Google the other one. Okay, I should bring that laptop. Okay, so, surprise tonight, but it's kind of mixture. So don't, again, this is up for grabs, free for all. So I wrote up the notes, but you run out of what you're teaching, like two big pages in that book. You just have to add something to it, and it doesn't have to really match, but it's kind of nice if you kind of have it near matching, which it kind of does. So this class tonight is called Human Landscape, okay? But there'll be a few titles and stuff like that. Okay, so how's all my fans doing tonight? Okay, so you happy that the weekend's almost here? Yeah, you got any plans to do anything? Or are you just going to spontaneously wake up Saturday morning if you got off work and spontaneously go and do something? Or do you have plans? Okay, let's start the class. This one's called Human Landscape, but it doesn't mean everything in this class and these pages are going to be exactly to that title, Human Landscape, okay? Everything's up in the air and exciting. We don't predict nothing, okay? So humans have dramatically changed the face of Earth. Farming, industrialization, and the growth of towns and cities have all had a huge impact on the way we live and on the environment. Okay? Okay, the next title is, you with me? Okay. How many people are there in the world? Okay, this is where the book is wrong, and I have to tell you the facts. Okay, the title to this page is, How many people are there in the world? Well, this book is really old, so it said some really low number. I didn't even write it in my notes because it was a really low number. So the book is, pretty old. But I know, what I've been teaching you out of that white book, that stuff's all been good. because it doesn't have like the stuff that I am teaching, like the dates are the right dates, like the Egypt thing, when they say, when you got history dates, that stays the same. So I didn't have to worry in that white book about. I know when I have to correct the facts if I use that white book. Okay, so how many people in the world? Well, for the past 3 to 4 years, I just started Googling the population on Earth. So actually, I don't know if I did it 4 years ago, maybe 2 to 3 years ago. I started checking maybe when I learned how to Google. I don't know, but about 2 years ago, I started looking up what the population is on Earth, and it said 6 to 7 billion people. Okay, now time goes by, year and a half, whatever. And I look up a few months ago, well, maybe like 8 months ago or 6 months ago, something like that. And I said, how much is the population on Earth? It's up to 7 to 8 billion people currently. And it's climbing closer to 8 billion right now. And out of my own head, I will tell you, because of the medical scientists, with disease control and all kinds of infections and viruses and bacteria, our medical field has become so advanced, and we can cure so many things that we just could not cure, and just one thing came after the other, and we just kept getting more and more vaccines and booster shots, and able to cure these viruses, bacteria, and I forgot what the third one. But anyway, so the population, the people are living longer. Yeah, people are living longer and living older and healthy. I mean, look at me at 66. Somebody back in the 70s that was 66 years old, I don't think looked as good as me in the, 66 years old. So the people are living a lot longer. The people look better. They're healthier, so they look better. So all people look better, So, yeah, so we were like, and then the other thing, though, the other reason why we're going up is because so many people, like in the poor neighborhoods in Chicago, guys will just jump on like 12-year-old girls who went through puberty at an early age, or they could be in their teens or even 20s, but you get in these poor neighborhoods where they don't got real good parental guidance, or parents around. Maybe they both have to work at 2 jobs or work a job, So you have so many of these kids, these guys jumping on these girls and getting them pregnant, and the girl, doesn't have the money for an abortion, and there's just a lot more people having babies today. And it's also due to higher population. Yeah, a lot big higher population. You're talking since 3 years ago, almost 2 billion more people. Yeah. So, and it was funny because in this white book today, I don't know if it's in these notes somewhere, but it says in 2025, which just happened to be this year, the scientists estimate there'll be like 3 billion people. I'm like, that was a joke. I couldn't believe it. I go, oh my God, it just happens to be 2025. And in my white book, it says, it was old. The book's, is old. And it says the scientists predict there'll be 3 billion. Like they were at 1 point something billion. And they go, the scientists predict around 2025. There'll be 3 billion people. Well, they got that way off. Yeah, we're pushing 8 billion. So it has grown very quickly. In 1850, it was only Here it is, what I was just saying. In 1850, okay, so they're going back. They're not talking about the 70s. I thought they were talking about the 60s and 70s. Okay, they're talking about in 1850. All right, well, that's a hell of a lot longer years. Okay. It was only 1.3 billion. Well, that'll make sense there. Yeah. Because the people were dying left and right from diseases. You know, Mozart died from like 10 or 15 different diseases because they had no cure for all these diseases. But like 1850, they made some progress, but way still bad news, you know. So it says in 1850 it was only 1.3 billion. Experts predict that by the year 2025, this is what I'm just saying, it will have gone by another 3 billion. So yeah, so this is all. So that's not right. Okay. So I told you, it's pushing 8 billion. Okay. So it says. Now, this is an old book. This part is, I wanted to Google this and I forgot. So, on the average, 3 people are born every second. But this is an old book, so it's probably way more than that. I didn't get to go. I need to bring that thing and Google right here during class. Yeah. Well, you Google it too. Okay. So, 3 people are born every second. But it's going to be bigger than that. This is old. I'm telling you, this is old right there. So that's not going to be correct. So I would Google if you want to know how many people are being born per second. Population growth varies from country to country. So I make sure I don't miseducate you, mislead you, you know. You have to Google that if you want to find out today how many people are being born per second. See, I make sure I teach you right. Okay, population growth varies from country to country. Poorer countries often have higher birth rates than richer ones. This can cause long-term problems for the poorer countries because they have limited food supplies and resources. Okay? I need more of my lipstick. I just don't look as pretty when my red lipstick, well, my foundation gets on my lipstick, and so it's not as red. I have to have bright red. Okay. Now that's much better. I have to have bright red. Ever since I tried this color, I fell in love with it. I never looked good with dark lipstick. But for some reason, it's working in my older age. And it doesn't look half as pretty if I don't have my red lipstick on. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so, which city... Okay, there's my lips. Which city has the largest population? Oh, I didn't Google this, so I won't be able to tell you. All I can just, here, you'll see. Which city has the largest population? It's not easy to measure city populations. Statistics vary according to how and when populations are counted, official population counts, or censuses. That's CENSUSES. So to how and when populations are counted, official population counts, or censuses are carried out every few and provide the most accurate estimates. Tokyo in Japan, probably the largest population. So I'm just going to teach you these 3, I think it's 3 major cities that have, you know, in order, the largest and the next. So I can teach you that part. But I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to quote the book's, number of people, because this is an old book and I didn't Google it. but we can do as far as the first, second, and third largest with the most people. That part is going to be the same today, you know. So, okay, it says, few and provide the most accurate estimates. Tokyo in Japan, probably the largest population, estimated at almost 27 million. Forget the 27 million. This is old. But you know that Tokyo in Japan has the largest population. Estimated, okay, forget the estimate. The second country that has the most population is Mexico City. Has the second largest. It says 18 million. Again, it's not going to be 18 million. This is years ago. But it will be the same, that Mexico City is the second largest. And then Bombay in India. So they're not doing this by the 50 states. See, I'm thinking, you know, we're doing the 50 states, because I keep going, wait a minute, Chicago's the second biggest. They're not doing that. They're doing countries that have the biggest city. Okay, so the third one is Bombay in India. And Sao, S-long-A-O, Paulo, spelled like Paul, P-A-U-L-O. Sao Paulo. So Bombay in India is the third one. And Sao Paulo in Brazil. Oh, this Sao Paulo is in Brazil. Follow with populations 17 million, but that's not going to be correct. So forget the figures; those aren't correct. But the order of the order of the cities, that should be the same. We're not talking about America, because I guess, you know, to other countries, yeah, we don't got a city as big as them. See what I mean? Yeah. Those countries have been there for years longer than us, for one thing. Okay, let's move on. It's, let me see. This has only got 8 pages, so you think you guys can stay with me? Do you think you can stay with Miss Melinda? Okay? Okay. We are on page 4. Okay, ready? Okay, let's go. How have changes in farming methods industrialized countries? Question mark. The increased use of machinery and improvements in farming methods have resulted in farming being less labor-intensive, period. This means that fewer farm workers are needed to work the land. In the past, most people worked on farms, producing food for hundreds of people. But now, many have left the countryside to take jobs in towns and cities. This enables countries to industrialize by developing their industries, factories, and economy. Many people in poorer countries, still work in agriculture. Okay, now here's the next title. What is an aging population? In a country with an aging population, the average age of the population is high. This is because the country has low birth rate, fewer children are born, and because good medical care helps people live longer. Like I was talking before, live longer. Aging populations are usually found in developed countries. I know I talked a little bit, I had a class developing countries, but this part I didn't put in there, so I can read this to you. Okay, developing countries where people have more children and shorter life expectancies of young populations. In Africa, nearly 50% of the population is under the age of 15. Can you believe that? In Africa, nearly 50% of the population is under the age of 15. That is amazing. The other ones die. The other population dies at younger ages because they don't have all our booster shots and doctors and stuff as much in a lot of the places. Yeah, not everywhere. No, there's a lot of rich people living in Africa. I never knew that. Yeah. So here's forests, okay? Forests are huge areas have land covered with trees, period. There are many types of forests, coniferous, C-O-N, like a con artist, like if you can go to the store, and then E-R-O-S, U-O-S, O-U-S, coniferous, okay, and deciduous, and the spectacular tropical rainforest. All right, now we have to read this again since I had to spell a word for you. Forests are huge areas of land covered with trees, period. There are many types of forests, coniferous, deciduous, and the spectacular tropical rainforests. A huge variety of wildlife and vegetation can be found deep within forests. So if you want to Google coniferous and deciduous, here's the two words that we're having trouble with. All right, first I'll show you, show you this one. Okay, here's that one. See, see where my fingers are? Con, like a con artist. If you go into the store, and then it's E-R, and then O-us, like you owe us. So now, you write that down, get a pen and paper if you have to watch the class again. And the other word we were having trouble with is this one. That's a D. I couldn't read it, so I put a D below it. But it's D-U-O-us. Like you owe us is at the end. You owe us. Okay? That word too. So Google them and get it straight in your head. Okay. So there are many types of forests. It's coniferous, deciduous, and the spectacular tropical rainforest. A huge variety of wildlife and vegetation can be found deep within forests. Okay, title. How often does it rain in a rainforest? Forests or jungles grow near the equator, where the temperatures are high and the air is moist. It rains nearly every day. The conditions are ideal for wildlife. Okay? We only have 2 more pages. Have you guys been listening to me? Okay, we only have 2 more pages. Do you think you can listen to these last 2 pages to Miss Melinda? Okay, let's do it. Okay? Okay. In fact, about half the world's plant and animal species are found in rainforests. Let's read that one more time. In fact, about half the world's plant and animal species. Well, we're animals and mammals. I didn't know that till my biology class. So it says, in fact, about half the world's plant and animal species, which means us too, are found in rainforests. Oh, well, I know scientists live in rainforests, but I don't think it's common for human beings to be there, because we were told in my biology class we're not only animals, we're mammals. I didn't know that. I didn't know I was considered an animal. So they're not, I don't know, they must be talking about animals that are not human, because it ain't common for humans to live in rainforests. But they have, what do you call those? Archaeologists? No. It's on the tip of my tongue. Anthropologists. I know a lady that her daughter is an anthropologist down in Africa, trying to give them food and water and give them an education, and they get money. They get help to get money. Anthropologists, that's what it's called. See, I'm educated. Yeah. You want to get educated some more? Well, we only have 2 pages. Here we go. What is the rainforest's canopy? That's like an overhead roof, you know? Okay. There are several different levels in a rainforest. The forest floor is home to shrubs, climbing plants, moss, and fungi. Fungi is plural for fungus, okay? That just came out of my head. It's very dark, and the floor is covered with decaying leaves and plants. The canopy is the top of thousands of mature trees. It forms a kind of roof over the rainforest. Many forest animals, such as brightly colored birds and monkeys, live in it. Above the canopy, a few taller trees break through, providing homes for big birds of prey. Period. Title. Last page, guys. Title. How do rainforests help us breathe? I knew that one pretty close to it. I knew they give and take out oxygen and dioxide. Okay, so let me read it. How do rainforests help us breathe? Rainforests play a vital role in Earth's oxygen cycle. The mass of vegetation in the vast rainforest takes an enormous amounts of carbon dioxide. So the plants are taking in the carbon dioxide, enormous amounts. The carbon dioxide is converted by the plants into oxygen, and which it return to Earth's atmosphere. I know I was told not long ago, you know, you can put plants in your room and it'll give out a lot of oxygen, you know. Yeah. But my question is, they were saying the other day that trees were one of the things that we're going to run out of. Well, then we won't be able to breathe. So we got to clarify all that stuff up. I don't understand. We keep replanting trees. So I'm sure we're doing it on a regular basis for need, because we need it. Okay, this is one of the, I got to investigate that with those trees. And then if it runs out, we can't breathe. There's no oxygen. No, because oxygen's also coming from somewhere else, from God somehow. That's another thing to, I guess, Microsoft it, actually. This is one of the reasons why environmentalists are determined to halt the destruction of rainforests. You're right. Yeah. Why are you tearing them down? Well, you got to tear some trees down for paper and stuff, but not the whole damn forest, you know, and then you keep rebuilding. Okay. So, I love all my fans, and I love all my subscribers. Now, I'm going to cut this short, because I have to go change costumes and teach another class. Yeah, I know you guys are just waiting for me. The minute I upload my videos, I'm getting hits within 2 minutes. Yeah. I posted one Wednesday, and that's just yesterday. And I had a whole hour watch time already within one night. Yeah. So, I will be right back for class 2. Okay. I love all my fans. Okay? And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and you will see me smile. These are my real teeth. They don't come out. I love you guys. Be right back.